In bed, wait, in bed with Billy Porter as he talks about Care Resource World AIDS and World AIDS Day and Smart Ride in an exclusive interview. Queer News Tonight is excited to participate in a very special World AIDS Day memorial event at the brand new Care Resource headquarters on Miami's Biscayne Bay. The broadcast will include the AIDS HIV news of the day, including the commemoration that will inaugurate the first ever rooftop event space atop one of South Florida's most important AIDS HIV community service providers. To help celebrate this momentous occasion, we arranged to speak to Pray Tell from Pose. The Tony, Grammy, and Emmy winner Billy Porter comes to Queer News Tonight. I interviewed him while I was on a cruise ship at sea, so I prepare you in terms of some of the image quality because I was way out in the ocean when I did it. I had no idea he would be doing the interview in bed. And we were off to the races for an incredible 40-minute conversation. Tonight, we share just a couple of those moments. First, I had to talk about Cinderella's fairy godmother. What gay boy hasn't always wanted one? I asked Porter what was the inspiration and fashion motivation of the fabulous fairy godmother FAB G. He shocked me that the inspiration was the Pentecostal Black church.
You know, first of all, it was out of the mind of Kay Cannon. She had the idea to make the FAB G me. And then the costume designer and myself, you know, she had Matronic, oh God, I forget her first name. She had done the Brandy version. She was doing this version, and she's on Bridgerton right now. She's known for her sort of classic costumes. We just talked, and she had some ideas, and she had a vision board, and you know, we talked. And what I thought was really interesting was that it ended up, it was classic, but it also ended up leaning into what I call like Black Pentecostal First Lady anniversary dress. You know, the sort of shawl, you know, the collar that like, it's like the color, you know, all of it was kind of very First Lady, Pentecostal First Lady. It was kind of with a wink. I sort of did it with a wink. The people who know.
Well, we also talked about his fashion sense. Dresses on red carpets, 6 muscle boys leading him into the Met Gala, his costumes on Broadway with kinky boots, and leading the ballroom on Pose. I asked him about the compliment shown to him by the likes of Brad Pitt, where he wore a skirt at a film festival red carpet. Porter was flattered. Then he got a little testy.
Yeah, it tickles me. It's sweet. It's good. It's great. I changed the world. And, you know, there's a little bit of me having to hold on to the narrative, you know, because the one thing that I have seen a little bit is energies and forces on the outside trying to give credit of this to other people, and I'm not going to let them do that. And I'm just going to say that out loud. You know, I changed it. It starts with me in this generation, in this iteration. And I'm not the first to do it, and I won't be the last. But in this space right now, it's me, and I have to own that, and I'm going to.
During the interview, we talked about his being HIV positive and the importance of World AIDS Day. We discussed local service providers like Miami's Care Resource and local fundraising like the $1 million raised by Smart Ride on the 165-mile bike ride from Miami to Key West. He said, quote, "What we learned from the Roe overturn is that it wasn't codified into law. Local is the only thing important now, is they get it done," end quote. We talked about his abuse as a child in a strict Pentecostal house and what he thinks about religion today. We talked extensively about politics, and in our conversation of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, well, let's just say the F-bombs began to drop. An incredible moment was when I asked him about the LGBTQ ageism and how we seem to be so disposable. He had lots of thoughts and then applied them to himself. Let's just say he told us what's next. Billy Porter is an activist, and he had one of the most clear analysis of race in America that I have ever heard. In Bed with Billy Porter, part of our World AIDS Day programs. Stay tuned for the full interview, and we invite you to join us on World AIDS Day at Care Resource Miami and their new rooftop event space for an incredible and moving commemoration to 750,000 Americans and 41 million people worldwide who have died of AIDS and HIV, and the millions more that live with HIV. Attend in person or watch the entire event on Queer News Tonight on Roku, Apple TV, and other streaming television platforms. It was an amazing event. It took me about 5 minutes to get used to the fact that he was in bed because I had absolutely no idea.
You didn't call Faye for advice?
And I should have called Faye for advice.
This is what you do when you have
This is how
to someone
you do
in
it.
bed.
You know, very funny. Kudos to Faye because Faye does it in bed better than Billy Porter. It was also interesting because he has no edit filter.
Oh, wow.
You ask him a question and he's going to tell you what he thinks.
Yeah.
And of course, we love that. And for a gay man at my age, to be able to talk to somebody like Billy Porter, for him to talk about, there was nothing off the table. It was planned for about 15 minutes and we did 40, and he had no intention of slowing it down or saying, okay, that's enough, that's it. And we were able to talk about everything, and especially in conjunction with the politics that were going on. He went off on the midterms. He went off on race in America. He talked about what's next. And one of the things you're really going to enjoy in the interview, he basically is a tremendous voice. You know, all of the hand-wringing that we've done for the last months about where we're at?
Right.
He basically called out to the LGBTQ community and said, look, don't be surprised. We've seen this all before.
Right.
It's happened over and over again, and it's ebb and flow and ebb and flow. Okay, we're at the top of the flow, but it's going to change.
Yeah.
Yep. I love that. I love him.
And said one other thing he said is, hey, the great thing about the midterms is we've got 2 more years of democracy.
Right.
And we get to work very hard in the next 2 years in our democracy to make sure it continues.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the interview.
How old is he? Does
very
anybody know?
much.
How, I mean, not
I
that
do.
He's 29.
He's probably
in his-
60-something.
He's in his.
Oh, he's
late
in his
50s.
slap you right now.
Late 50s.
He's in.
Oh.
Okay, no, because people think that, Billy Porter just came out overnight, boom, and that's it. That man has been working for our community, representing on Broadway and so many other different ways for decades.
Yeah,
Right.
which is
It's
why
just now
when he,
imposed that he got the notoriety. that he's
when he
so
goes
deserved.
off, you say he has something to say, he's unfiltered. It doesn't come from a place of just wanting to talk and hear his own voice. Like, he's an educated man with a broad intellect. He's very aware of things that are going around in society as well as politics. Like he's has his thumb on the pulse of what's going on.
In the 90s, he was in your track, Matthew. He reminds me of you in that he was doing music.
He's got gray hair.
Well, thank you.
Is that right?
He did have great hair in that interview. I was like, come on, braids.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
Music. And he said, the only way I was able to become Billy Porter is because in the 90s when I was doing music, I did what everyone else told me I needed to do. And when I realized, wait, that's a failure, I've got to stop this, then I became Billy Porter.
Right.
Wow.
Powerful,
awesome.
powerful,
Yeah.
powerful. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.